This is breaking now. Review the names of military officers engaged in oil theft. Navy dares Asari Dokubo. This is good for him. Asari Dokubo came out and went to Abuja and was saying that the Nigerian military are behind all the oil theft in Nigeria and in the South. Okay, and he went there and said all he said, indicted the military, and said so many things, because you know the way Asari Dokubo talk. He talk, and then indicted the military, saying that the military is behind, especially the Navy, okay, the Army and the Navy, that they are responsible for all the oil theft in the South. And his own people are doing bunkering. All of them are doing bunkering there. But now he has gone to Abuja to go and say that the military is responsible for the oil bunkering. So now the Navy has come out to dare him, to asking him to release the names of those officers engaged in oil bunkering if he knows them. I'm sure that this guy, because the way he talks, he has gone into another one chance now, because they're going to hold him tight. The military will not keep him quiet, especially the Navy and the Army. They will not keep him quiet. I'm telling you. And you will see what is going to happen. Even though if they do the real investigation, none of these people will actually be innocent. But this, when you're dealing with this kind of people, you have to use wisdom, you have to use brain. Asari Dokubo does not have brain when he's talking. And now he's going to rope himself into something that he will not be able to come out of it. Okay. The Nigerian Navy has dared former agitator and Niger Delta leader Mujahid Asari Dokubo to provide the names of officers involved in crude oil theft. Politics Nigeria reports that Dokubo had earlier made claims stating that the majority of oil theft cases in the oil-rich region can be traced to the Nigerian Army and the Navy. And during a briefing with State House reporters after a closed-door meeting with President Bola Tinubu at the Aso Rock Villa, Dokubo said, "The military is at the center of oil theft, and we have to make this very clear to the Nigerian public that 99% of oil theft can be traced to the Nigerian military, the Army, and the Navy especially." Responding swiftly to this allegation, Commodore Adedotun Ayo Vogan, the spokesman of the Nigerian Navy, dismissed the claims as spurious and unguarded. Ayo Vogan pointed out that oil thieves were expressing frustration because the Nigerian Navy, alongside the entire military, has been relentlessly preventing their attempts to sabotage the economy through the ongoing Operation Dakatabara. Can you imagine? Ayobogan stressed that the Nigerian Navy, in collaboration with relevant stakeholders, will continue to obstruct crude oil thieves in their attempts to harm Nigeria's economy. In an interview, he challenged Dokubo to present the names of those involved, asserting that the Navy maintains a zero-tolerance policy towards any form of criminality, including the alleged theft mentioned by Asari Dokubo. The Nigerian Navy spokesperson, "The Navy has an operation in the Niger Delta that has been running for over 1 year plus to curb oil theft. Operation Dakatabara has denied oil thieves more than 76 billion naira worth of crude oil, the money that would have helped them to further increase their illegal artisanal refineries. So the Navy is actively fighting oil theft. For anybody to make such spurious allegations, bring the names. He, Dokubo, is in the Niger Delta. He has boys in the Niger Delta. The company that was given a contract by the NNPC on pipeline surveillance, they are working with the Nigerian Navy and Operation Delta Safe in the Niger Delta to curb oil theft. For somebody to just make such unguided statement, bring the names. You know that there is an Operation Dakatabara going on in the Niger Delta, being run by the Nigerian Navy since April last year. The Navy has been running it in synergy with the NNPC. So NNPC hosts regular meetings with the Chief of Naval Staff to review the operations. Just last week, the Chief Executive of NUPREC was here to have a meeting with CNS, Chief of Naval Staff. Just 2 days ago, the management team for the other one on downstream regulatory authority were also here to have a meeting. For us, if you want to make such spurious allegations, bring the names. Simple. That is it. The fact remains that Asari Dokubo, having been in the creek for years, might be correct, but the approach and the way he's putting it is probably going to be a very difficult one. And because this man has consistently been against the Igbos and some other people, when he gets into trouble, even though it's a genuine trouble, nobody's going to pity him because of the way he talks, the way he behaves, and all of that. It's quite unfortunate that Asari Dokubo is probably going to get into a mess that he will not be able to clean himself. Okay? Because if they go into the issue of oil theft matter in Niger Delta, I don't think himself, Asari Dokubo, will be exempted, because he cannot say that with all the money he acquired, how did he acquire them? Okay? With all the militancy that he was involved in before now, how did he get all those money? He was a militant leader in the creek, and they know what they were doing. So why starting a crocodile dance that you will cry probably at the end of it? Because I'm sure Nigerian Navy will go and bring out the investigation report that will indict Asari Dokubo as one of those people also stealing the oil in the creek using their boat. Okay, using their boat. So it might end up being a case of a thief calling a thief. That is it. So now Nigerian Navy has come out to ask him to go and bring the names of the officers involved, and they will handle it keenly, because there is zero tolerance to any form of irregularity, even in the military. But again, Asari Dokubo should also be sure that the dance has started, that he also will not be roped in, that he will not be involved, because military, to be able to get promotion and to be able to clean their name, will bring out all the investigation reports, and you might be surprised that they will go for those ones that Asari Dokubo has shown. Okay, to show the world that Asari Dokubo is saying that the military is supporting oil theft is probably the key leader that is, doing the same oil theft in Niger Delta. That is the truth. So Asari Dokubo should be very careful, because when you talk like this, you don't risk assess what you are saying. You don't assess what you are saying before you say it. You have to make sure your hands are clean before you go into a fight that can consume you. Just like the investigation that Tinubu has started now with Emefiele and with Bawa, you might be surprised at the end of the day, when the heat gets too much, they will come out and tell the whole world Tinubu's side of the story as well. And that will become a very dirty fight, I tell you. So it's difficult for a criminal to fight a criminal. So they just have to make sure that they tighten their corner while they make the allegations they are making. Even though the allegation might be correct, because the whole Nigeria knows, but the truth is that maybe God will use it to scatter them through confusion to their midst, and then from there things might start getting better in Nigeria. Okay, but I tell you, Navy will do everything to clean themselves from this Asari Dokubo's allegation, and probably will come up with reports that show that Asari Dokubo himself is also involved in this oil theft matter that they are dragging. Okay, and then they will use the power of government and the power of military to deal with Asari Dokubo, for not keeping quiet for this kind of matter when he is also involved. So it's going to be a complex one, because the issue of oil theft in Nigeria and in the Niger Delta has been for ages. It has been for a very long time. And if confusion can come from somewhere so that they nip this issue on the bud, it will be better for our economy. Okay? But Asari Dokubo should be ready for the fight with the military. So thank you for listening, and let's have your comment.